Hi guys, and welcome back to Beauty Fortified. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Sue, and today I wanted to share some facelifting makeup techniques. So these are just little things that you can do just to help you create a lifted effect. So as we age, obviously everything starts heading south, and for me, I find that it's actually worse than wrinkling. I really just despise sagging skin. So I wanted to share just a couple of things that I do just to mitigate the sagging. So onto the tutorial. I've already applied my foundation, and today I went in with the Dior Backstage, and I am in the shade 2.5N. I've also put on a little bit of under eye concealer, and I went in today with my Chanel Le Correcteur. And I have also applied a little bit of powder. So went in today with my Rimmel Stay Matte. So the first thing I'm going to talk about are brows. Once your brows are groomed and filled in, they definitely frame your face, and they just create a kind of building block for everything, for the rest that is to come. So I'm going to fill in my brows, and I start off just by brushing them up with a brow spoolie just to make sure that they're all facing in the same direction. So obviously my brows have thinned over the years, and I do have little gaps, and I also want to shape them slightly. And in order to create a lift, you need to create a little bit of an arch, and the arch needs to be just to the left or right of your pupil, depending on which eye you're working on, but never in the middle. If you're going to make an arch in the middle, then you're going to look very, very surprised. So I'm taking my Benefit brow pencil. This is in the shade 3. And I'm just going to gently start filling in the brows just to create a little bit of shape where I have brows missing, just to fill them in slightly. And then when I get to this area, I'm just going to create a little bit of an arch, a little bit of a shape. And if you have brows that come down kind of past your eye, you can leave those very thin and light, because then that is going to create, that's another thing that will create the illusion of lift. So not to go and fill them in right until the end. So I'm just gently filling that in just to create a bit of a shape, and immediately they do look fuller, and they really just help to frame the face. Now, if you've gone in a little bit too dark, what I usually do is I take the spoolie, and again, I just brush it through the brows, and it just tends to kind of diffuse the color. But just very lightly, the shade I've done is very light. I don't want anything that's very emphasized. If they're going to be too dark, it's going to create quite a harsh effect on the face. But this has already gone a little way to lifting the face slightly. So the next thing we are going to go on to are the eyes. Now, I do have hooded, downturned eyes, and as I'm getting older, I do find that they're kind of sagging ever so slightly. And I do have a little bit of a dark area here where my lid is kind of being pulled down by gravity. So what I like to do is I like to keep the lid makeup and the crease makeup away from that kind of dark area. So ordinarily, if you were going to put a color into your crease to kind of disguise the crease, you would ordinarily kind of go as far as that. So where your eyebrow ends and where you have the outer corner of your eye, where those kind of meet along the pencil, you would normally take your crease shade all the way down. And what I like to do is I like to cheat the shape a little bit. So I just take my crease shade just short of this little area where I have a little bit of a shadow. And before I do that, another thing that I do for that area is I do put on a little dot of concealer, and that's just to kind of brighten that area. So just a tiny dot of that, and I just blend it in with my finger just to lighten that area, because the little bit of shadow that it gives does tend to pull down the eye area somewhat. So just a little bit of that. And today, just to demonstrate this, I'm going to go in with one of my all-time favorites. This is the Essence Dancing Green palette. It's beautiful shades of greens and golds. And I'm going to go in with this brownie green shade in the corner. And I'm taking an eyeshadow blending brush, just going to pat a little bit of that shadow onto the brush, tap off the excess. And then I'm just going to start slightly higher than the corner of my eye, and I'm just going to start shading this area. Now I do have hooded eyes, so I do like a crease shade that's going to create shadow and is going to make the hood recede slightly. So I just blend that in very gently, and you can see that I don't take it right down to the corner. I am going to blend that out with a fluffy brush, just so that there are no harsh lines or edges, and just making sure that I'm not pulling that color down into the corner, which is what we are trying to avoid. But once you are happy with the placement, you can then just go in and deepen up that crease shade. So it's just all about starting the shadow just shy of the corner of the eye so that it's not going to pull the eye down. And I'm going to go in with a lid shade. I'm going to be going in with that middle kind of greeny gold shade. And just taking a flat eyeshadow brush, going to wet that a little bit because it works a little bit better on the green. And again, I'm going to pat this onto the lid, and I'm just going to avoid the far outer corner of the lid. Again, just in keeping everything high so that nothing is pulling down the eye area. And then I'm going to go in with a pencil brush, and I'm just going to take some of that deep green dark shade, and I'm just going to put it not in the corner but as close to the corner as possible without actually getting into the corner, if that makes sense. So we're just avoiding that little corner at all costs, and it's just going to keep the eye from being pulled down. So now that I've done the top lid, I'm going to gently line the lower lid. I'm going in with my Stila pencil in Tiger's Eye. This is just a very soft pencil. And again, I'm taking it almost up to the outer corner, but not quite. And then taking the pencil brush again, I'm just going to gently blend that out. So again, just avoiding that outer corner. And then just to finish off, I am going to add 2 coats of mascara. So now onto the cheeks. Now, one of the things that is going to help you lift your cheeks very slightly is to create a shadow under the cheekbone. And I'm going to go in today with, this is a MAC eyeshadow. This is in the color Amiga. And I find that it works beautifully just to create a very authentic shadow under the cheekbone. You could go in with a little bit of bronzer or any contour of your choice. But I just put it on the pointed end of a cheek brush, tap off the excess, and then I just go in very lightly to create a little bit of shadow. So this just cheats the cheek and gives the illusion of cheekbones. If you find that your cheekbones have also lost a bit of volume, the skin has lost a bit of volume, this just really helps to define them, and it just creates a hint of shadow, and immediately the cheek area looks lifted. So once you are happy with that, I'm quite happy with that for now. I'm going to go in with a little bit of blush, and of course nothing lifts the face like blush. And today I'm going in with my Clinique Colourpop in Ginger Pop, Cheek Pop. Taking a little bit of that on a little cheek brush. I do like to use a smaller cheek brush just because it gives me a little bit more precision. So we're just going to go in, and I'm just going to lightly take that over the shadow that I've created, just so that it blends in, and just lightly onto the cheekbone. And the secret with blush, applying blush for more mature ladies, is to keep it really high. And again, this will also help just to create the illusion of lift. So you want to keep it high, and you don't want to bring it any lower than that area or your kind of natural cheek. So just keep it as high as possible. And what I do as well is I just bring a little bit onto the apples of my cheeks, just to, again, to help a little bit with that lift. And you can really go quite high, almost under the eye area. And that's going to give you an immediate lift to the face. And now, to further enhance the cheekbones, if you wanted to go an extra step, is to put on a little bit of highlighter. Now, I use it quite subtly, and the one I'm going in with today is the Stila Stick, and this is in the shade Kitten. I've really been loving this. And I just use this to accentuate the high points of my cheekbone. So I'm just going to apply it with my finger. I just rub my finger over it like that, and I'm just going to gently tap it onto the cheek area, just to create a little bit of a lift there, a little bit of shine, and it really helps as well just to lift the face, and it kind of accentuates what you've done with the blush and the contour. And then I'm going to take a little bit onto the apples, and this also just helps to make the cheek a little bit more pronounced if your cheeks are quite hollow. So that is the blush done. And then finally onto the lips. Now, if you have downturned lips, which I do, and this is also one of the benefits of aging, is when my face is in a resting position, you can see that gravity has pulled this area down. And so I need to be quite careful, especially when wearing a deeper lip shade, that I don't emphasize that area over there. And one of the ways to do this is to cheat your lip liner. Now, I'm going in with quite a dark lip today. I'm going in with, this is POA, it's one of the Lustre glass lipsticks from MAC. And I'm going to line my lips with a pencil which is in a very similar shade. This is a Maybelline one. But I'm going to be very careful again, just to keep the liner high and not to follow the natural line of my lips, because if I do that, it is going to pull the mouth down. Now, I'm going to do both sides of the lips just to show you as a point of comparison. So here, if I follow my natural lip line, it looks like this. So there's my natural lip line, and you can see it's kind of being pulled down. So now I'm going to cheat my lips on the other side, and I'm going to avoid that area. So I'm going to bring the liner just short of the corner, and I'm going to match it up with the top lip also just short of the corner. So you are kind of ignoring the corners. So there, I'm just cheating the corner area and not taking the lip liner all the way to the edge of my lips. And now I'm going to go in with a little bit of the lipstick. So there, looks rather odd, just done half the lip, but it's just to give you some perspective of what can help you, little techniques that can help to lift the face with makeup. So now that I've done the other side of my face, I am feeling a little bit more balanced. So guys, I hope you found that helpful. Let me know what tips and tricks you use to mitigate sagging. I'd really love to know. I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.